Hello, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most alarming and consequential stories unfolding in global geopolitics, the rapidly escalating confrontation between Iran and Israel, and the terrifying possibility that Iran may be just one step away from developing a nuclear weapon. This situation isn't just another flare-up in the Middle East. It's a development that could reshape the balance of power across the entire world and potentially ignite a conflict with catastrophic consequences. For years, tensions between Iran and Israel have simmered beneath the surface, driven by mutual distrust, covert operations, cyber warfare, and proxy conflicts. But in recent months, that cold shadow war has started turning into something far more dangerous. Israel has been ramping up its rhetoric and military preparations, insisting that it will never allow Iran to become a nuclear-armed state. Meanwhile, new reports and satellite imagery suggest that Iran has made unprecedented progress in uranium enrichment, possibly reaching a stage where it could produce weapons-grade material within weeks if it chooses to. This isn't speculation anymore, it's a serious warning. Western intelligence agencies have revealed that Iran's enrichment levels have exceeded 60%, just shy of the 90% threshold needed for a bomb. This is the closest Tehran has ever come to the nuclear red line. While Iran continues to insist that its nuclear program is for peaceful energy purposes, the evidence tells a different story. Inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency have been repeatedly blocked from some sites, and traces of highly enriched uranium have been detected in areas where none should exist. These signs point to a hidden race against time, a race that Israel and the world can no longer ignore. Israel's leaders, from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to defense officials, have stated repeatedly that they will act, alone if necessary, to prevent Iran from achieving nuclear weapons capability. This isn't an empty threat. Israel has a long history of preemptive strikes against nuclear programs in the region. In 1981, it destroyed Iraq's Osirak reactor. In 2007, it carried out a similar mission in Syria. But Iran is a far more formidable adversary. Its nuclear facilities are spread across the country, buried deep underground, and protected by advanced air defense systems. A direct strike would be far more complex and risky than anything Israel has done before. Behind the scenes, Iran's military has been preparing for this possibility. Revolutionary Guard commanders have openly spoken of retaliating against Israeli and American bases in the region if an attack occurs. Iran's missile arsenal, among the largest in the Middle East, has been put on high alert, capable of reaching not only Israel but also U.S. military installations across the Gulf. The regime has also mobilized its powerful network of proxy militias, including Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and the Houthis in Yemen. These groups could open multiple fronts against Israel simultaneously, overwhelming its defenses in a coordinated response. At the same time, Iran's government seems emboldened by global uncertainty. The war in Ukraine, tensions in the South China Sea, and the shifting focus of Western powers have created a strategic window. Tehran believes that the world is too distracted to stop it. China and Russia have provided crucial diplomatic cover, blocking stronger UN sanctions and maintaining trade links that keep Iran's economy afloat. This new alignment has allowed Iran to push its nuclear program further than ever before, confident that international pressure will remain fragmented and weak. Israel, however, is running out of patience. Its recent military exercises simulate full-scale strikes on Iran's nuclear infrastructure, including deep penetration raids and electronic warfare to disable Iranian radar systems. Israeli jets have even conducted joint training missions with the U.S. Air Force, preparing for a potential operation that would target enrichment sites in Fordo, Natanz, and Arak. American involvement would drastically increase the chances of success, but it would also guarantee a regional war that could drag in every major power. If Iran is truly one step away from a nuke, the world faces a nightmare scenario. A nuclear-armed Iran would change everything. It would instantly become the dominant power in the Middle East, emboldening its proxies and striking fear into its rivals. Saudi Arabia has already hinted that if Iran gets a bomb, it will pursue one too. Turkey and Egypt might follow. The result could be a regional nuclear arms race, making the Middle East one of the most unstable and dangerous regions on the planet. The question now is whether there's still time to prevent this. Diplomatic efforts have all but collapsed. The 2015 nuclear deal, once seen as a breakthrough, lies in ruins. The U.S. withdrew from the agreement years ago, and Iran responded by accelerating its enrichment activities beyond the deal's limits. Efforts by European nations to revive negotiations have failed, with Tehran refusing to roll back its program without guarantees that sanctions will be permanently lifted. It's a deadlock that benefits no one but Iran, as each passing day brings it closer to nuclear capability. What makes this situation even more complex is the internal dynamic within Iran itself. The regime faces mounting domestic pressure from a population tired of economic hardship, repression, and isolation. For the ruling clerics, the pursuit of nuclear weapons isn't just about security, it's about survival. A nuclear deterrent would give the regime the ultimate shield against both external threats and internal uprisings. It would cement Iran's position as a regional superpower, capable of dictating terms not just to its enemies, but even to its allies. Israel understands this all too well. For Israeli policymakers, allowing Iran to cross the nuclear threshold is simply not an option. Many in Tel Aviv believe that waiting any longer would mean accepting a nuclear Iran as inevitable. And that's why the coming weeks and months could be decisive. Israel may soon face the toughest decision in its modern history: to strike now and risk a regional war, or to stand back and face a nuclear-armed adversary bent on its destruction. Meanwhile, ordinary people across the region live under the shadow of uncertainty. In cities from Tel Aviv to Tehran, from Beirut to Riyadh, there's a growing sense that something big is coming. Oil markets have already started reacting to the tension, with prices rising as investors fear a potential disruption of the Strait of Hormuz, a critical artery for global energy supply. If conflict erupts there, it could send shockwaves through the world economy, affecting everything from fuel prices to food costs. Internationally, the United States finds itself in a difficult position. On one hand, Washington doesn't want another war in the Middle East. On the other, it cannot allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon, which would threaten not only Israel, but also every American ally in the region. U.S. officials have been trying to maintain a delicate balance, supporting Israel's right to self-defense while urging restraint and seeking diplomatic off-ramps. But with each new report of Iranian nuclear progress, that balance becomes harder to maintain. There's also a growing concern that cyber warfare could become a major part of this conflict. Israel has already been linked to several cyber attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities, such as the famous Stuxnet virus that crippled centrifuges over a decade ago. In response, Iran has developed its own sophisticated cyber units capable of targeting infrastructure across the world. A new digital front in this conflict could hit banks, power grids, or communication systems, spreading chaos far beyond the Middle East. What makes this moment particularly dangerous is the level of miscalculation possible. Both Iran and Israel operate under a doctrine of deterrence and ambiguity, where neither side wants a full-scale war, but both are willing to act if provoked. A single misinterpreted signal, a drone strike gone wrong, or a retaliation that goes too far could spiral into something uncontrollable. And unlike past regional wars, a nuclear element would change the stakes entirely. As we stand today, the question isn't whether Iran and Israel will continue their rivalry. It's whether that rivalry will explode into open war before diplomacy can find a way out. The world is watching closely, knowing that a single decision made in Tehran or Jerusalem could alter history forever. The next few months will test not only the resolve of nations, but also the strength of international diplomacy itself. If Iran is indeed one step away from the bomb, the world faces a choice: confrontation or containment. Both paths carry enormous risks, and neither offers easy answers. But one thing is certain: what happens next will define the Middle East for generations to come. So as we follow this story, it's crucial to understand that we're witnessing not just a political dispute, but a turning point in global security. The future of the region, and possibly the world, hangs in the balance. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned as we continue to track the latest developments in this rapidly unfolding crisis. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis and updates on this story and other major global events.